सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। परस्याः प्रकृतेरनादिम् एकं निविष्टं बहुधा गुहासु सर्वालयं सर्वचराचरस्थं त्वामेव विष्णुं शरणं प्रपद्ये। We will go to the verse we were nearby. इत्याधारो भगवान् पृष्टः शिष्येन तं सहोवाच विदुषामप्यति गहनं वक्तव्यम् इदं शृणु तथापि त्वं सत्यमिव जगदसत्यं मूलप्रकृतेरिदं कृतं येन तं प्रणिपत्योपेन्द्रं वक्ष्ये परमार्थसारमिदम्. So we were looking at this 7th verse where we already discussed how we look at the Jagat Karanam. The Jagat is there. Everybody is perceiving the world. So there is an objective world. There is also a subject, me, an individual. These two nobody can deny because it is evident to everybody, correct? The world is perceived, everybody is transacting in the world only. The Vyavahara also is there. Now, is there a Karanam for all these things? That is the question. Most scientists today say that there is no separate Karanam or anything. This is how Jagat is. This is how the world is. Something evolved and somehow the intelligence came. Okay, they are all talking about some evolution, but mostly the evolution is in terms of biology. But how does intelligence come into that is a big mystery even for scientists. Most scientists say that it doesn't matter. We do not know many things, but that doesn't mean we'll believe any cock and bull story. That is their attitude, okay? If you talk about a Jagat Karana. So we do not know many things, but we will know eventually when the science progresses. This is the kind of attitude many of them have. Then in our tradition, there are some people who say that we can logically establish Jagat Karanam, Ishvara, the Nayayikas. Okay. But we say that logically you cannot establish Jagat Karanam because there is no rule that whatever is there here is even a Karya. Unless you establish that Jagat is a Karya, you cannot logically say that there has to be a Karana. There has to be a cause. And even if the Jagat is an effect, you cannot logically establish that there has to be only one cause for that. And even that cause itself is causeless. That also you cannot establish logically. Understand that. Even if there is one cause, what about that? Did it get produced by somebody else or something else? Means logically you cannot arrive at all those things. Logically you can give a supporting logic, okay, saying that I see a lot of intelligence in this world. Everywhere, in fact, there is intelligence only. The very fact that I am able to study the world using physical laws, chemical laws, biological laws, psychological laws, physiological laws, all kinds of laws, means it shows a certain order. The order itself is intelligence. Understand that. So there is intelligence everywhere, including in our own body, because we don't consciously control whatever is happening in our body. Everything is happening according to a certain order. But all these things are still only supporting logic. They do not clinch that there is a Jagat Karanam. It cannot be done. That is why we have to accept Shruti as a pramana for that. Shruti alone can reveal to us that there is Jagat Karanam, Brahma. Brahman is the Jagat Karanam. From that alone, everything has come. By that alone, everything is sustained. Into that alone, everything resolves. That is Jagat Karanam Brahma. And it is not some jada vastu. It is not just matter. Like scientists, some scientists say that there is only matter. Everything is only matter for them. Even mind, intelligence, and all is some chemical reaction or electrical activity in the brain. Okay. Now that's not how we look at it. This Brahman is also Jnanam. It is Chetanam, and it also identifies itself as all knowledge. Sarvajnaha, Bhagavan, Ishvaraha. Means we say this Brahman is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman. It is all knowing, all powerful, and not only that, that means, see, for any creation, knowledge is required, material is required. Correct? Both are required. We already saw that. But in the case of Jagat, these two things cannot be two different things. Like for a pot. For a pot, the knowing doer or the maker is the potter with the knowledge. Correct? And the material is the clay or any other material, whatever the pot is made up of. But in the case of Jagat, these two things cannot be different. That's why we say, from which it has come, by which it is sustained, into which it has gone. And also this entire Jagat is tad aikshata, like that the Upanishad says. Means this Brahman Jagat Karanam saw, visualized, and then the whole world is there. Like even your dream world is nothing but it's just coming in your mind, correct? It's a projection of your mind. You see everything solid, liquid, gas, this, that in the dream. Mountains and roads and whatnot, animals, chariots. But all that is only a projection in your mind. Like that, Bhagavan, this entire world is nothing but Bhagavat Jnanam. It is all a manifestation of Ishvara Jnanam. The Sarvajñatvam alone is manifest as this entire world. And that's why Bhagavan is both the Nimitta and Upadana Karana. That's how the Shruti is presenting. And that is the only way we can understand this properly. But here, one more thing is there. But the Shruti is also presenting Brahman as Nirvikara, Niravayava, okay, Avyayaha, Nishkriyaha, Nirgunaha, all these ways in which the Brahma Swarupam, even the Jagat Karanam Brahma, its nature is that it does not do anything really. It does not have any division within itself. It is partless whole. Then how do we reconcile these two things? Because on one end you are saying it is the creator, not only it is the maker, creator, it is also the created thing. It is the material also we say. Okay. It is both Nimitta and Upadana. Even though I don't want to use material for Upadana, whatever the world is made up of, it is that also. It is the stuff. The world stuff also is Bhagavan only for us. And normally what do we understand? Even for clay to become pot, there is a parinama is there, correct? Some change in the state of clay has to be there. The clay can become many different effects, but it has become a pot. Means it is one type of modification you can say. Or you make a plate out of the clay. Means that is another type of modification you can say. The Namarupa also, or even uh, in its nature also, or Swarupa, some change is there, correct? You have to heat it up and make it hard for you to utilize it, etc. So in the world, when something is made, it is not exactly Vivarta. The only Vivarta example, Vivarta means Swarupa Aparityagena Rupantara Apattihi. I already told you, I think. Vivarta Upadana means without giving up its nature, it has become something else. Now, gold is a better example because gold remains gold, but still it becomes bangle and so many other things. But even there, you can say that it is actually a modification because it is taking the form really. the form of gold. Right? Gold becomes a bangle means there is a name and form bangle. Gold becomes chain means there is a name and form chain. Really it is there. That's why another example is given. What is that? The dream. Okay. In the dream, nothing is real. Or rope snake is given. In the rope snake, the rope never became the snake. Understand that? But the snake is really rope, correct? Because without the rope being there and you cognizing something, but you did not cognize it as rope. Understand that? Something has to be there. Only then there can be an adhyasa or a superimposition or a projection there. But that something should not be known as what it is really. In this case, rope. So something is there, but you did not know it as rope means there is rope ajnanam, we say. The rope ajnanam is there, and once ajnanam is there, it is a covering, and anything can be projected on that. So you project a snake or you project something else, you project a mala, let us say, let us project something which is Shubha, correct? Why should we project snake and make you afraid? You think it is a mala, aha, there is a nice mala there, go, let me go and pick it up. You can do that. And then you find out that it is only a rope. So in the rope snake, it is really vivarta, or we say shell silver also for making it something which is attractive, correct? In fact, shell silver is better because everybody is going into this world and falling into it, thinking that you are going to get some ananda here. So that way, shell silver is better, but rope snake also is there because world also has fear. World has both fear, world has some sukha also. Both are there, we cannot deny. So we give two examples. There is shell silver, there is rope snake. In both these cases, they are not real. And the adhisthana has not undergone any real change at all. But still you have pravritti, correct? Either you are afraid and you are running away, or you are going towards it to pick it up, thinking that you are going to get something. Now that is the nature of the world. That's what we say. World is nothing but an appearance for us. Since it's only an appearance, Brahman does not really change in any manner. Understand that. Brahman is Brahman as it is. It is Nishkriyaha. It is Nirgunaha. Nishkalaha. Everything is only, it is not there, not there, not there in that. Okay. But it is not Achetana. It is not Asat. It is not Shunya. It is not complete non-existence, or it is not something which is Jada. That also we say. That is this Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, this limitless conscious being which is there. In that the world appears. Then how do we account for this world appearance? We have to account for it somehow. That is why from the standpoint of the Vyavahara itself, the world, the subject-object division is a given for everybody. From that standpoint, we say Brahman is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. But even that Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanatvam is only Mayaya, we say. Or it is Avidyaya, Mayaya. So this Maya or Avidya is proposed as a Shakti. Maya Shakti is the Bija Shakti, it is the seed from which the entire world appears. But in reality, it is also not there. Understand that. From Brahman's standpoint, from the rope standpoint, there is no rope ajnanam or snake or anything. Understand that. But from the onlooker standpoint, there is rope ajnanam, which covers the rope knowledge. And because of which there is a projection of whatever it is, depending on the samskara and all that. So that is what we say. So the Upanishad is talking about this Srishti Prakriya, the world and its creation, etc. Why does it talk about it? There is a big discussion about all these things in the Brahma Sutra also. Okay, or even in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, different Upanishads where the Srishti Prakriya is there. There the opposing view is what Upanishad itself is saying about Srishti, that it came from Brahman, everything means the Srishti has to be real. Okay. This is their argument. Upanishad itself is talking about tasmad etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. The akasha has come from Atma. Therefore, the space has to be real. Then from the Akasha, Akashad Vayu, Vayu Agnihi, Agnerapaha, Adhya Prithvi. Like that, it gives a certain krama is there. From the Akasha, Vayu came. From Vayu, Agni came. From Agni, waters or liquids came. And then from there, all the Prithvi, solid things have come. And from there, all the food has come. From food to the body, Purushaha. The individual who identifies with the body also is there, along with the body. So the food only becomes the body. All the idli, dosa, whatever you eat every day has become this body. Like this, the Upanishad is talking about all these things. But the thing is, the Veda, when we talk about Veda as a means of knowledge, see, any means of knowledge, we give two characteristics. One, we say that Anadigatam, whatever it reveals should be unique. It has to be a unique field of revelation. Okay. Like eyes are revealing color. Nobody else can reveal color to you. Ears are revealing sound. There is no other way of cognizing sound. Like this, so many things are there. Each and every sense organ is revealing a unique field, which can neither be proved nor be disproved by anything else. Understand that. That is the anadigatam. In fact, because it cannot be disproved or negated, that the next part of the characteristic is it should be abadhitam. It can never be negated. So whatever is revealed is unique and it should never be negated by anything. That's why all knowledge is self-valid for us. It is called swatah pramanyam. Swataha, because anything which is revealed to you by a valid means of knowledge, we take it as valid knowledge only. But sometimes it can be erroneous also. The erroneous cognition is negated by another stronger cognition. That is paratah pramanyam, we say, because the error has to be negated by another cognition. Valid cognition is valid by itself. Okay, it is self-valid. You don't go looking for validation anywhere. In fact, if you go looking for it, it will go into an infinite regress. There cannot be any vyavahara in the transactional world. So, in the transactional world also, all knowledge is self-valid for us. One cognition does not require another cognition to validate it. Understand that. It's a very important, it's a very simple thing, but very, very important thing. Why I am saying all these things? Because all these things applies to the Veda also. The Veda also is a means of knowledge, in fact, for us. In fact, only if you accept the Veda as a means of knowledge, you have Shraddha. And only if you have Shraddha, you will get this knowledge also. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Like that Bhagavan says, even in the Gita. Without Shraddha, there is no jnanam. In fact, you are having Shraddha in your eyes, ears, and all those things also. Understand that. Fundamentally, what you are believing your eyes, your ears, your nose. Even though you know that as you get older, they do not report everything correctly. Even then, you have a blind belief on whatever they are revealing. But can you give that status to the Veda? Whatever status you are giving to your sense organs, if you are able to give it to the Veda, then you are a Shraddhalu. Correct? You have Shraddha. That means Veda also has to reveal to me something unique. It has to have a unique field of revelation. And already we saw with reference to Bhagavan, Ishvaraha, Jagat Karanam, no other Pramana has access to that. It cannot be proved Pratyaksha, it cannot proved by inference also. And another thing all of you should understand, because this this science mania is going on nowadays, you have to understand the limitation of science also. Science is nothing but enhanced perception and sophisticated inference. It is not beyond that. Understand that. Nowadays we have enhanced perception. Why? We have telescope, we have microscope and all that. Very good, no problem. Okay, the way you can infer from that also, it is more sophisticated. You have mathematical models, physical models, all these things. It helps you. The way you can hypothesize, because you have a bigger pool of data and all that, you can hypothesize and you can also test the hypothesis and arrive at your theories and all that. So I'm not denying any of that. Our scientific progress and all that is fine. Technology is there. Applied science also is there nowadays. But that doesn't mean everything can be proved by science or it can show you everything. In fact, Veda by definition should reveal to you something which is beyond perception and inference. That is how the tradition looks at it. I am not saying that. Acharya says, Pratyakshena anumityava yastu upayona buddhyate. Yenam vidanti vedena tasmad vedasya vedata. The Veda itself is Veda. Why? Or it's a means of knowledge. Why for us? Because it is revealing to me something which is not available through perception and inference. That means Veda cannot be scientific. It should not be scientific, in fact. Okay, nowadays everybody wants to prove everything is scientific and all that. That means they don't understand anything. They don't understand how knowledge takes place. They don't understand what is the means of knowledge. They don't understand the scientific method also. What is science, scientific method, how we test, how we propose a hypothesis, how we test it, what are experimental methods. None of these things they understand. And they want to prove everything is scientific. This is a problem. Scientists also will laugh at you if you say that. A real scientist understands the scientific method and the limitations of science also. Okay? But they don't accept your Veda as a means of knowledge, which is fine. It is their law. Understand that. You cannot go and scientifically prove whatever the Veda is saying to a scientist, because Veda is beyond science. Unless the scientist wants to come beyond the science and look at it with an open mind, you cannot do anything about it. So it's a waste of time. For us, Veda should not be scientific. Then only it is useful to me, really. Understand that. It is revealing to me something which is beyond science. Even that Bhagavan is there, Jagat Karanam is there, is beyond science, really. Science cannot do anything. That Swarga is there, is beyond science. That Papa Punya, Karma is there, is beyond science. That Karma Phala will take me wherever, Swarga, Naraka, is beyond science. Correct? None of this science can either prove nor disprove. The scientist will not accept saying that, because for him science is a bigger pramana. He has pramana buddhi with reference to pratyaksha and anumana, but not with reference to the Veda. So they are not accepting, they need not accept, it is their loss. Understand that. Okay, none of these things, or even that you can live, that something survives the death of the body itself, scientist does not accept, many of them. That also Veda only has to reveal. They have Vyatirikta Atma, we say. Who reveals to you that there is an Atma which is other than the Deha? Because there is a lot of confusion with reference to that. Most scientists do not even accept there is a mind. Then what to talk about Chaitanya Swarupa Atma. Because Atma, which is of the nature of consciousness, they are not even able to visualize that. But Veda is revealing to you that there is a Jivatma which travels and all that. Dehantara Praptihi also. Deha Vyatirikta Atma is one thing. Then Dehantara Sambandhi Atma. Like this also we say. Means what? This Atma can take another body. That also only Bhagavad Gita and the Veda and all they are revealing. Correct? So even in the Gita, Bhagavan says what? He says, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinnati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. So like even a shirt, when it becomes very torn and all that, you throw it away and wear another shirt. New shirt you get. Every Diwali we used to get in our, when we were young, this Deepavali, Pongal and all used to be very exciting for us. Why? Because we used to get new clothes only at that time. There was some excitement. I think nowadays people don't have the same excitement. I think children and all that. Some magic was there for us. But if you have plenty of all these things, you can go anytime to mall and buy anything you want. Means there is no excitement, I think, anymore. Anyway, that's a different topic. I don't want to get into that. So here, what I am saying is that Veda Pramanya is something you have to understand properly, because Vedanta is nothing but part of Veda only. You should have Pramana Buddhi with reference to Vedanta, and Vedanta is only revealing all these things to you, and it cannot be scientifically proved and all that. Understand that. Throw that idea out. There is all knowledge is self-valid for us. Then there is no need to prove it. Is that clear? If you say knowledge is self-valid, there is no question of proving or disproving or anything. Understand that. In fact, we can make sure that it is never disproved by anything. That is the Mimamsa we do really. That the analysis we do is that whatever is revealed by the Veda can never be negated by anything else. That we do. Or any other proposition anybody comes up with, we prove that it is illogical, in fact. Or it is whatever, it is negated by some other valid means of knowledge, we prove that. That is analysis we do to establish that whatever the Veda says, it stands on its own. Okay. So why am I saying all these things? Because whatever is the Veda is revealing to you, before presenting that, I want to give you a solid basis to understand that as valid knowledge. Is that clear? Unless you have Pramana Buddhi on Veda and Vedanta, there is no point for you to read this. This class is not a scholarly class or anything. It is for your self transformation. Understand that you have a problem. Samsara is a problem for you. You have recognized the limitations of your achievements, and you have recognized what your fundamental problem is. You have recognized what is the solution for that is, and then you come to Vedanta to transform yourself, because your fundamental problem is wrong identification. The self identification itself is wrong. That can only be resolved by self transformation, because you have to you have to replace your self identity somewhere else from wherever you are doing today, and that is revealed only by the Veda. Understand that. There is no other pramana for that. So now what does the Veda reveal? First thing it says is what? Jagad asatyam. Jagad itself is only an appearance. In fact, 150 years before, all scientists would have opposed this. Okay? Because they all thought space and time is absolute. All the objects we have, matter is the ultimate reality. Even today, many people think like that. Okay? But they were thinking like that in classical science or classical physics and all that. But nowadays, most scientists understand that the world is an appearance. Okay, there is that much they understand. Why? Because of whatever the quantum mechanics and all that, whatever it came in the early 20th century. So the quantum mechanics says that it has its own theory, and most of them have accepted that. So from that, even for the scientists, it is very clear that the macro world is only a show. It is only an appearance. At quantum level, 99% is space, or even the quantum system itself is a transcendental wave and all they say. It can be either wave particle duality and all is there. It depends on how the observer is seeing it, whether it is wave or it is a particle, all this. So there is a anirvachaniyatvam there itself. Wave particle duality and all they talk about. Whether matter is really a wave or it is a particle. You cannot say that. There is uncertainty principle and all that also is there. You cannot measure everything with certainty. So all this anirvachaniyatvam, whatever we talk about anirvachaniya, scientists also are talking about in a different manner now. So science is aligning somewhat, you can say, but that doesn't mean science can establish all these things. There is no consensus in the scientific world on all these things, but many scientists are now aligning. It can be taken as a support that the world is mithya, it is only an appearance, is now supported by the mainstream science itself, which is a good thing. The scientists also accept the space-time is created now. Understand that. They are talking about a singularity and all that before Big Bang. So we can have some alignment there. And therefore, the Jagat Asatyam is not a big thing. That Jagat is not really what you think it is. It is only an appearance. It is a false appearance. It appears as though it is real. Satyamiva. It's only an appearance. Then who created this appearance? This Maya Jala means Mula Prakritehe idam kritam. The Mula Prakriti is the one which created this. What is this Mula Prakriti? Of course, I think later on in the text it will come. But even in the Gita, Bhagavan talks about this Prakriti, correct? Prakriti has 8 components and all. It is talked about in the Gita. This is all. Even the Sankhya Darshana also talks about it. Bhumi Rapo Nilo Vayuhu. Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayuhu. Kammano Buddhi Revacha. Ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtada. Like this in the 7th chapter beginning, there is a verse, Gita verse. Means what? This Prakriti is made up of the Pancha Mahabhutas, we say. Bhumi, Apaha, Analaha means Agni. Analaha is a very interesting word. It applies to most of us also. Why? Alam means enough. Alam. In Sanskritam, alam means enough. I have enough. I don't want any more. But this Agni is Analaha. Why? Because he never says enough. How much ever fuel you put, he keeps on consuming. He never says enough. That is the guy Agni. Analaha. For him, for whom there is no enough. Enough word itself is not there in his dictionary. Like that, people also, nothing is enough for them. They keep on going in a vicious cycle within this samsara. Correct? And in fact, Annadana is supposed to be the best dana in the world, it is said. Okay, in our area and all, Annadana is very big. Also because Shasta worship is very big here, and Shasta is called Annadana Prabhu. So we have Annadanam is done everywhere, even in temples. Any function means you have to provide food. Otherwise, people won't come here. In fact, they are used to that. But why this Annadana is such a big thing? Means only with food you can make the other fellow say enough. Correct? You can feed him. Even those who is a glutton, who eats a lot, also at some point will say enough. So you can make somebody say enough. You can satisfy them with food. With money and other things, you can never satisfy them. You give so much money, if you ask him, do you want more, means he will say yes. But with food, you can satisfy everybody. Anyway, we'll come back to this. Analaha. Agni is Analaha. Bhumi Rapo. Apaha means water. Bhumi is Prithvi. Then Bhumi Rapo Nalo. Vayuhu. Vayu is Vayu, wind or gas. Then Akasha is there. Kam means Akasha. Then Mano Buddhir Ahankaraha is there. But Manas is really the Ahankara. Buddhi is called Mahat Tattva. Okay. So the Ahankara means there is Ahankara, the totality. The one who identifies with the entire creation is the Hiranyagarbha or Prajapati and all we say. But there are also individual identities are there. Those who are identifying with one body, mind, sense complex, they are all individuals. But at a total level also, there is Ahankara. Then there is something called Mahat Tattvam, which is the Buddhi. The totality of all Buddhis, all intellects, where the Sarvajñatvam resides. That is the Mahat Tattvam. And then Avyakta, we say, the unmanifest, undifferentiated, unmanifest. In fact, in the unmanifest state, the Prakriti is, in fact, the Prakriti is also looked upon from another angle, which is that it is Trigunatmika, we say. It has 3 gunas. Now, this guna is wrongly translated as quality in English. It is not quality. Here, the guna, when we talk about it with reference to Prakriti, is a technical term. It means constituents, not quality. Understand that. There is no gunaguni bhava here. Prakriti itself is made up of these 3 constituents, which are sattva, rajas and tamas. And when each of these constituents are predominant, correct? Sattva pradhanam, rajah pradhanam, tamah pradhanam and all we say. When they are predominant, certain things happen. All these things are given in the even in the Gita in lot of detail. Okay, gunatraya vibhaga yoga and all is there in Gita. The three gunas, how in fact when they become predominant, what happens. So in fact, as a sadhaka, you have to become a sattva pradhana first. You have to increase your sattva guna, and then you have to transcend all gunas. You have to become gunatita. Okay, that is the way Bhagavan shows in the Gita beautifully. So the Prakriti is also looked upon as having three gunas, Trigunatmika. The gunas are all constituents here. Understand that. The Prakriti itself is constituted of three gunas, and when the three gunas are in equilibrium, then it is avyakta, it is unmanifest, it is in an undifferentiated state. Everything is in the bija state or potential state, we can say. It is the seed. And then what happens? Ishvara identifies with all knowledge. Tad aikshata means then the mahat. That's what. All knowledge, and then the whole thing is projected from there. All the Panchamaha Bhutas and all that. Even there we have a Srishti Prakriya where we say that the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas we say. Correct? Each of these 8 things also they are constituted by the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas only. Understand that. The 8-fold Prakriti, when the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is equilibrium, that is Avyakta. But the equilibrium disturbed, then Mahat comes. And it is even more disturbed, Ahankara comes. And more disturbance, then all the other Panchamahabhutas come, and even there we say that the sattva aspect of the Panchamahabhutas have become our Sukshma Sharira. The Manas, Buddhi, Prana and all are not Prana. Manas, Buddhi and Indriya are all Sattva. Then Prana is the Rajas part of the Panchamahabhutas. Physical body is the Tamas. The Tamas part of the Panchamahabhutas have combined. So that combination also, there is a formula and all that. I don't want to go into that, but it is a simple formula. 50% of the main thing, then 1/8 of the others make up this. That is called Panchikarana. So Panchikaranam happens, and that's how this whole world has come. That is our theory, 5 elemental model of our creation. So Prakriti only, by that Prakriti, this entire world, this Idam Jagat, Kritam, it has been made by. That means Prakriti is the Parinami Upadana Karana, I said, because Brahman is Vivarta, it doesn't undergo any change, it is as it is. But in his presence, Prakriti only has become, or it is only putting up this show. Prakriti has become all these things. So, Mula Prakritehe idam kritam yena tam pranipatya upendram. So, even here, like I said, the Prakriti cannot do this by itself. Correct? I already told. Prakriti cannot do this by itself. Then by whom it is done means by the Purusha, who is Vishnu here. Upendra is the word used here. Okay. Vishnu is called Upendra, particularly in the Vamana Avatara. So we can go to the how Vishnu got this name Upendra and all, you can do research. But here Upendram Pranipatya. Okay, Yena Prakritehe Kritam. So with this Prakriti, by whom this entire Jagat has been created, that Upendra, that Vishnu, I do Namaskara, Pranipatya, and I will now tell you this Paramaartha Saara. Whatever questions you have asked, I will tell you about that. So Paramaartha Saaramidam Vakshye, I will talk about it. And what is that next verse? We'll see. Avyaktad andam abhut andad brahma tatah praja sargaga mayamayi pravrittihi samhriyata samhriyatayam punah kramashaha. So, avyaktat andam abhu. So I said the Prakriti, when all the three gunas are in equilibrium, it is called avyakta. Avyakta alone was there in the beginning. Even in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also it is said that mrityuna idam avritam asit, like that there mrityu is taken as avyakta or avyakrita. By death, everything was covered, it seems. Whatever was here, this ekameva advitiyam brahma vastu was covered by this avyakta, and from that this anda came. Brahmanda we say, correct? Anda means this anda is the potential already. Okay, that is the mahat part. And then in that anda only, when the identification is there with everything, that is the Brahmaji or the Prajapatihi or Hiranyagarbha we say. Anda Brahma. So that is why the Padmanabha Swami and all we have this visualization, correct? See, Vishnu is Param Brahma because he is lying down. He doesn't do anything in fact. That is what is shown by Vishnu. Vishnu doesn't make any effort. Vishnu is just lying on Ananta Shayana, means Ananta. He is really uh, beginningless, endless, limitless Vishnu. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu also. He is the all-pervading Vishnu, lying down, doesn't do anything. Then who is doing? Means Brahmaji, who has come from this Vishnu. Because Brahma is Rajah Pradhana, we say. Okay. Or sometimes we say even Sattva Pradhana because he is all knowledge. The one who identifies with all knowledge, identifies with everything and all knowledge is Brahma. And from that Brahma only Tataha, Praja Sargaha, all other beings. So in fact in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is told like a story that this Prajapati came initially, he felt alone, he was lonely, nobody else was there. He became bored. In fact, he became afraid also suddenly. And then he realized also, he had Atma Jnanam and he said that there is no cause for any fear because Dvitiyadvai Bhayam Bhavati. Only if there is a second thing, I should be afraid of that second thing. There is no second thing. I am everything. Therefore, I have no fear like that. He had Atma Jnanam also. Okay, Prajapati. And then, but still what? He had to create because he was alone. That is one story. Or otherwise, what do we say? In fact, in Brahma Sutra, there is a big discussion on this. Why should Ishvara create? Because in the creation, we have Vaishamya, correct? Vaishamyam means what? There are differences. Somebody is born with golden spoon, somebody is born without any spoon. Not even wooden spoon is there. So how do we account? If Vaishamyam is there in the Srishti, then Ishvara will have Nairgrinyam, it is said. Vaishamyam, Nairgrinyam. This Nirgrinaha means cruelty. Because of all the differences I see in the world, what do I say? Whoever has created is a very cruel person, this fellow. Then how do we account for it? Means Ishvara has no Nairgrinyam or anything. Then how did the Vaishamyam come? So Bhashyakara says, Vaishamyam has come. One is first avidya is there. But due to avidya alone, you cannot account for all the differences because avidya is common to everybody, correct? All the jivas do not know the reality that they are Brahman. That is common. Whatever is common for everybody cannot create any difference. Therefore, we have to accept karma. Without karma, we cannot explain anything here. So the samskaras in the form of karma is there in the avyakta itself, it is said. And that only for the purpose of the jivas, for them to experience and exhaust their karma, all the lokas are created by Ishvara. Ishvara himself doesn't have any desire to create or anything. It is the jiva karma. In fact, that is why jiva is called pita also. in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Jiva, the Jiva is called the father of the creation because Jiva only is creating more and more karma, and for exhausting that karma, Ishvara has to keep creating again and again all these worlds, even after a pralaya, again new cycle of creation and all that. Okay, when did the first karma come? This is another question everybody asks. Means here we say you cannot go to first karma and all that. Because if you propose a first karma, again the Vaishamyam will come, Nairgrinyam and all will come into Ishvara, correct? Because before the first karma, then everything was sama. Then somehow Ishvara introduced differences, it will become. So what do we say? This unmanifest becoming manifest, becoming unmanifest, becoming manifest is like Bija and Ankura. Bija Ankura Nyaya. Like that it is there. In the Shastra we use that. What do we say? Which came first? The seed or the plant or the tree? Means you cannot say that. It is beginningless. That's why. So Bija Ankura Nyayena, what do we say? The karma, we cannot find out when the karma started and all that. So this karma in the form of samskara, in the form of bija is there, and then the world is created for you to exhaust karma, but in the process you gain more karma. Like the tree produces more seeds, correct? Then again seeds are there, tree may die, seed is there. Then from that seed again another tree comes. Like that it keeps on going. It is a cycle. That is how it is answered that Ishvara doesn't have any Vaishamyam and Nairgrinyam. He doesn't create any differences here, and he is not cruel or anything. Ishvara is Ishvara. In Ishvara's presence, everything happens. In fact, in the Gita, Bhagavan gives a very interesting statement. He says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So I only created all the beings who are who are categorized into these four varnas, correct? Chatur Varnyam. And also this categorization is based on guna and karma. What gunas is pradhana in them, correct? Sattva rajas tamas only. There also guna is. Based on whatever guna is pradhana in each being, their activities are also accordingly. So if sattva pradhana means you are more knowledge based activities, you go into. Rajah pradhana means you are going into all these kshatriya activities, we say. Okay. Like war or whatever, or even uh, enforcing law and order, all these things. Or Rajah Pradhana, Tamas is supporting, that means you go into wealth creation and etc. Vaishya. But Tamas Pradhana means you are only interested in working for others. You don't want to take any risk. You don't want to risk neither your capital nor your whatever other things, your physical effort and all. You don't want to put that much, let us say. You don't want to get into risky things. You just work for others. So like this, but then immediately he says, Tasya kartaram api mam Vidya kartaram avyayam. Even though I did all these things, I created all these things. Understand that, understand me, correct? Vidhi. How should you really know me now? Even though I created all these things, I am telling you. Even here we are saying Brahman is the Jagat Karanam. But how should you know this Brahman in reality? Akartaram avyayam. Means I did not really do anything. It is like saying the sun is the cause for all the activity on the earth, correct? Even day and night is due to sun. And in the daytime again the lotuses are blooming. We say that only due to the sun the lotus has bloomed. All the activity, photosynthesis is happening. All plants are producing food. Only with food everything else can happen here, correct? So sun is causing everything. Means sun is not causing any. You go to the sun and ask, did you do anything? Means it will say, no, I did not do anything. Shining and being bright is my very nature. I did not do anything. I am there as I am. So in the presence of sun, everything is happening here, correct? Like that, from one standpoint, you can say Bhagavan created everything. But from his own standpoint, he is saying, Akartaram Avyayam also. I never changed. There is no change in me. There is no parinama in me. I am Avyayaha. Na vyeti iti Avyayaha. Vyaya means some modification or decay and all this also you can say. Bhagavan is an unchanging, invariable, undecaying reality. Correct? So I did not do anything. I am unchanging, invariable. In my presence, all these things are happening. That is the reality, in fact. So that's how we have to understand. That's why it is said, Mayamayi Pravrittihi here. This whole thing is Mayamayi. Okay, it is all coming. This whole thing, Mayamayi means what? This all this creation, whether it is Chara, Achara, all these things I created. But then the creation itself is only like magic, or it is of the nature of Maya, Mayamayi. It's all only a show. It is all only an appearance. Okay, Mayamayi, Pravrittihi. So from wherever all these things have come, it is all only Mayamayi. And Samhriyata means what? Okay, here again it has come. It is also sustained by Ishvara only. That also you have to understand. It is a sustenance also is there. And then what? Samhriyata means what? It is resolving. It goes back. It ends in. So whatever is there here, Yam, Samhriyata, Punaha, Kramashaha means what? It goes back in the same order. Okay, in whichever order the creation came, in the same order it resolves and goes back into Avyakta. That is what we call Laya. Correct? So all the prajas merge into Brahma. Brahma again goes back into Avyakta. Like that we have to understand. Or when Brahma sleeps, also we say. Because Brahma, this whole creation is there during Brahma's day, we say. In fact, if we count all that, the number of years and all will go into billions. Okay. What is a Brahma's day and all that maybe we can discuss. But in reverse order, it goes and it merges back into Avyakta. Means all the, again the gunas go back into equilibrium. That is the Avyakta or Avyakrita. And again it will come back. That is the cycle of creation we are talking about. It is all going on in a cycle. Unless you think, till the time you think all this is real, this cycle will keep on going. Okay. So how do I cross this means what? It is all like, you think that you are swimming in the ocean, correct? As long as you think the ocean is real, you cannot swim. It is so huge. There is no sight of any land or anything. But then how do we cross this ocean means? It is all Bhava Sagar Sukh Gai, like that it is said even in the Meera Bhajan. You see, then suddenly what? Guru Upadesha is there. And in that, what do you see? There is no ocean to start with. In fact, it has all evaporated instantly. There is no real ocean. It was only an appearance. You think there is an ocean and you are swimming in all these things, and there is an entire cycle of creation. Everything is going on here. But you just see that nothing is there really, in fact. It's all only an appearance. There is no reality to all these things. That's what you have to see. So that is why this Maya, Mayaha, Maya, Mayi and all, again and again it is repeated here. And Asatyam, Satyamiva, Asatyam, Jagat and all was said. That is the crux of the teaching. So we'll continue that in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.